is so good to see each other. I spent all of my day listening to lecture after lecture after lecture on a professional development day, and I kept thinking to myself, why is that person up there and what are they trying to tell us? How many of you guys like coming to Toastmasters every single month? How many of you guys are also at the same time afraid of coming to Toastmasters every single month because, well, maybe I'm a little nervous about getting up here, maybe I'm not sure what to do. It's okay to say that, I get a little nervous too standing up here. Would you believe that the majority of teachers don't consider themselves professional speakers? I've been podcasting for the last 10 years and I always ask the same question. Hey, you're doing something really, really cool. Would you like to be on the show? And they always seem to answer, oh, I'm not good at this stuff. I don't have anything to say. I wouldn't know what to say. And keeps coming up to me and going, okay, well, you speak for a living. How do you do this? So today we're going to talk a little bit about how to prepare for a speech, how I prepare for a speech. I started speaking at a long time ago. In fact, I started speaking when I was very, very young. I was a new child at the time, and we used to go up to Maine every year for my family vacation, and we always used to have like a big potluck. There's 100 of us that showed up to Old Orchard Beach, Maine. There's like 100 of us going around there. And even from when I was this tall, my dad got me up on the stage and made us do skits. And then that turned into doing Boy Scout skits and then being the MC of skits. And so for me, presenting just comes naturally. And I found out that there's a few things that all presenters have in common. And I want to see if maybe these things are in common with you guys too. Number one, they all have hands like feet. Now, how many of you guys know what I mean by hands like feet? I want you guys to do me a favor, put your hands like this, right in front of you. And I want you to put your hands right on your hips. Now, usually when I have more time to do this kind of an activity, we stand up, we spread out a little bit. But what I want you to do is on your lap like this, I want you to take the palms of your hands and I want you to push down. I want you to feel that you're grounding yourself. Now, what you'll find from most speakers is that as they're standing here, their body is kind of moving forward. But what we want to do when we're speaking, and we just want to relax, we want to kind of pull our body weight back. And the first thing I always think about when I'm speaking, preparing to speak, or even teaching, or in my previous life as a conductor, it's always, I want to get my weight back, I want to ground myself, and it's always that concept of hands like feet. So if you see yourself just kind of going like this, just put your weight back on here, get yourself comfortable. The other thing I always recommend is know your subject matter better or as good as anybody else. I'll give you two quick stories. When I was in a university, when I was going to Westchester University, my first conducting teacher made us do this thing called a gesture analysis. What is a gesture analysis? Well, we've all seen music directors, we've all seen conductors and do this. And have you ever thought, what are they doing? How are they doing it? Conductors have an amazing job. Number one, you're the only one on stage that doesn't make a sound. And number two, you're pointing in the wrong direction. So you have to be having some kind of control of what's going on. So they made me do this gesture analysis. And what a gesture analysis essentially is it's a written document that says, when I put my hand up, I'm going to look over here. I'm going to take this hand and move it. I'm then going to move this hand over here, and I'm going to go like this in cue. I'm then going to go to this beat, and it makes you write down every single thing. Could you imagine doing that for your own job? Could you imagine doing that job as a parent? Could you imagine doing that? I'm going to get in the car. I'm going to put my hand on the key. You see where I'm going with that. But we had to do that for an entire semester, and I hated it. But it made me think about every single thing that you do when you're on the podium, both from the front side and from the back side. Worst experience of my conducting life, but the best, because looking back, I got to my second conducting teacher, and he says, do you know the music? I said, yes. He goes, good, then be the music. Just get up and be the music. So my first advice for anybody speaking is ground themselves. The second advice I have is just know your subject matter. And that's why I liked last time we got together, that icebreaker speech was simply, tell me about yourself. We can all feel comfortable doing that. So get yourself grounded, know yourself better than anybody else, know that information in a way that you can share it comfortably, and just be open to be the music. I'll give you the third thing about this, and this is something that I learned from doing 10 years of podcasting. I say this to all of my guests. I've never once interviewed anybody. I know you're thinking that's kind of weird. I have people on this show all the time. But it's the first thing that I say to all of my guests. I say, don't worry, relax. This is not an interview. You're not on the spot. All we're going to do is have a great conversation with each other. Just the fact that we're recording it is the fact that we're recording it. Don't worry about any of those things. So my third piece of advice, and the thing that I would stress to anybody looking to put together a speech, a lesson plan, a presentation, anything, is don't give a speech, a lesson plan, or a presentation. Just plan on having a great conversation with your audience. Let them experience you, let you experience them, and the rest of the presentation is going to go on. You see, as we go through all of these different steps here, you'll find that it's just easier. The planning is easier, the prep is easier, and you'll find that even now, I'm a little bit forward. Well, maybe this floor is a little slanted, but I'm finding that just doing this gets me more comfortable, and I'm already feeling myself pulling myself back onto that podium and having the freedom to move my arms and to look around. And one of the comments that was made last time, and I appreciate whoever made this, was more eye contact. And that stuck with me, because one of the things that hit me is the other day I was listening to the entire Hamilton soundtrack, and they get to that middle where they're doing the 10 dual commandments, and he says, look him in the eye, aim no higher. And I've been repeating that stuff to myself, repeating. And if you just come in with one thing in mind, one goal, everything else is going to fall in place. Keep yourself grounded, know your material, have a conversation, look them in the eye, and you're going to have a great speech here and a great long time at Toastmasters. I want to say thank you guys for allowing me to come up and share this opportunity with me. That didn't sound right, but you know what I'm saying. Thank you guys for the opportunity to share some of my passions with me. And as I said last week, I hope you guys have a chance to continue sharing your passions with each other. Thank you for the opportunity.